Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Whitney is off tonight. Just into our newsroom at this hour, Spokane police have identified the victim in a 40-year-old cold case. Take a look. In June of 1984, the dismembered body of a woman was found in the Spokane River. Despite using DNA databases and forensic renditions of what the victim might have looked like, for decades, investigators could not crack the mystery of who she was until this year. Othram's Labs, who helped solve the Candy Rogers cold case, used degraded samples to create a DNA profile, then through genetic genealogy provided SPD with a list of potential family members. Spokane police were able to track down a biological sister of the victim and finally identified her as Ruth Bell Waymeyer. She was a Spokane native. She would have been 24 years old at the time of her death. She was married to her second husband and was believed to have had a child 1 year prior to her death. Ruth's killer has not been definitively identified. Anyone who knew Ruth or information about the case is urged to contact the detectives through Crime Check, and that number is right there at the bottom of your screen. We are tracking news out of Moses Lake tonight. A large fire damaged a plant southeast of Moses Lake, just south of Interstate 90. Last night, firefighters worked for hours to contain a major fire inside. Photos showed just how big the fire was. Well, today, investigators are on scene investigating what started the fire. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley traveled to the scene today and shares what details we now know.
Behind me is Basic American Foods, the food processing plant that caught fire last night. Now in the daylight, we can finally see just how badly the fire damaged one of its buildings.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office confirms the third floor sustained the most fire damage. Several videos and photos shared by witnesses show just how massive the fire was. This is what Trent Cleverly and his wife returned home to. They live about a quarter mile from the plant.
The roof line and along the wall of it was just flames were just coming off of it.
The local farmer told me over the phone he recalls hearing a loud thump earlier in the evening, but didn't expect to find this scene in his backyard.
I was hearing the fire trucks and I was like, what's going on type thing? Because it sounded like it's coming down our lane. And as I walk around the backside of the house, that's when I see American potato completely up in flames. And anyway, I was just shocked by that.
We've not been able to confirm if Basic American Foods continued operations today, but the parking lot appears mostly full, and we saw people coming and going from the building this afternoon.
At this point, we don't know if there were any injuries reported, but right now, the Grant County Fire Marshal is investigating what caused this fire. Reporting in Moses Lake, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
In other top stories tonight, a man with numerous prior felony convictions will spend nearly 17 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to first-degree kidnapping with sexual motivations. Spokane police arrested Daniel McGee in June of last year after a sexual assault near the Shadle Park neighborhood. According to court documents, the victim said she was walking to a bus stop on Wellesley Avenue when McGee approached her wearing a green bandana over his face. The victim said McGee then pointed a small handgun at her, took her to an alley, and sexually assaulted her. In addition to his sentence, McGee will be required to register as a sex offender. And a man's been arrested for allegedly setting fire to a home in Spokane Valley this morning. Dozens of firefighters responded to a house fire on 4th Avenue and Chronicle Street right off I-90. Witnesses say the home has been vacant for some time, but they reported seeing a man leaving the home and smoke coming out of the house a short time later. Spokane Valley deputies arrested a 31-year-old. He's been charged with second-degree arson and residential burglary. Crews on the scene determined the house was a total loss. Well, KREM 2 is taking a deeper look at new documents in the Brian Coburger case in our effort to bring you more to every story. Those filings show possible Brady Giglio material being shared with the defense that has to do with an internal affairs investigation of an officer on the case. The details are sealed, so we don't know who the officer is or what agency they are with, but we do know that officer is part of a confidential internal affairs investigation, and the prosecution is sharing that information with the judge and the defense. Prosecutors are required by law to turn over evidence that may exonerate a defendant, or it may be as simple as a witness who may not be credible. Defense attorney John Henry Brown says it could be a huge win for the defense, or it could be meaningless.
It could be something as small as the DUI 25 years ago, or it could be something more serious. Obviously, the most serious thing for the prosecution, the state, would be if the officer, detective, or whatever, has some history of not telling the truth.
Brown says turning over Brady Giglio information is pretty standard for prosecutors. All right, let's switch gears and talk weather right now with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Lagout joining us right now for a quick look at the forecast. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, we've got a little bit of filtered sunshine working its way through. You can see it on the clock tower and a little bit in Riverfront Park there. And that's going to help bump temperatures up ever so slightly, but still not 50. That's just the way the weather's going lately. We just are struggling to hit that 50-degree mark as of late. Past couple days, yeah, we've done it, but barely. Right now, you have to actually head north to find it. Look at those temperatures down in Lewiston, where it's typically really warm. 46, Moscow is 39 degrees. You head up into Sandpoint, Deer Park, Grand Coulee, and Omak, mid-50s to near 60 degrees right now. Seriously, Omak, you're at 60 degrees, Grand Coulee 58. Deer Park 53, and you're typically well colder than Spokane, and that's all thanks to the cloud cover. You can see that stark line in the sky, and that's what makes all the difference in terms of temperatures. Now, when it comes to the rest of the evening, expect that to kind of remain the case. A few of those showers stay in the central Idaho panhandle, and eventually we'll start to see some of those scattered showers develop across the inland northwest tomorrow. I don't think they're overly widespread, but yes, we do wind up seeing them. The next few days, a big shift is in the works. Now, well, there goes Saturday. 51 degrees tomorrow, 47 on Friday. Saturday, I think we're in the upper 40s as our frontal boundary arrives, but it is a bit windy. And that wind, well, it ushers in yet another cold stretch of days.